packed agenda of guest speakers eagerly waiting to address you tonight. So I would like to now introduce you to our MC, who will begin the session with the recitation of the Qiraat and thereafter guide you with the rest of the agenda for the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the MC, Ishan Sosri.
Thank you, Farida. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here to celebrate this momentous occasion. As Farida said, we have a very tight program and you are already late. So let me get started. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya O mankind, we created you from a single pair of male and female and made you to nations and tribes so you may know each other and not despise each other. Verily, the most honored of you in the sight of Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal is He who is the most righteous of you. And Allah has full knowledge and is well acquainted with all things. So that Allah will love you. I would now like to call upon Anisa Bari to say the Canadian national anthem. The audience, would you please rise? Thank you.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you, Anisa. That was a beautiful rendition of the Canadian national anthem. Audience, please remain standing for the Sri Lankan national anthem. Thank you. Islamic History Month. This is a very special month, especially the month of October, designated by the government of Canada to celebrate the country's Muslim heritage. This is also a month where we have to remember, honor, and celebrate Canada's vast and diverse Muslim community, especially for the contributions they have made for Canada, for the well-being of our society. Canadian Muslims have contributed in enormous ways, whether it's from business to the sciences, or the academia to the arts, and everything in between. Muslim Canadians have made an enormous contribution to Canada, which we all enjoy today. This is also a special time for us to honor and acknowledge that the land we're standing on today is the territory belonging to the indigenous people of Canada, passionately known as the First Nations. To name a few, there are the Wendat peoples, the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe tribes, the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Chippewa tribal lands. This is home to a diverse First Nations, the Métis, and the Inuit tribal lands. We also acknowledge that Toronto has signed Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaties with the multiple Mississaugas and the Chippewa tribal lands. The idea to bring about 500,000 Sri Lankan Muslims scattered around the globe under one banner was conceived in the year 2004. But it didn't really take shape until 10 years later, that was 2014, and that too, after the very nasty incidents of racial incitement, racial riots, that our brothers and sisters back home endured in silence. This was amplified with the unfortunate events of the Easter Sunday massacre of 2019 that provoked a few elders to expedite the formation of this forum. Thus, on 18th October 2018, the World Forum for Sri Lankan Muslims had its first gathering in Harrow, Middlesex, United Kingdom, amidst a distinguished gathering. Today, I'm delighted to call upon the former president, who is ever so anxious to extend a warm welcome to all of you and speak a few words. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Captain Aga Auri.
High Commissioner, Honorable Colonel Zahid, Secretary General World Forum, Imam Badad, Professor Nauman Ashraf, members of Sri Lankan Community Association, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm so glad to stand in front of you to welcome each and every one of you who have taken the time to attend this 10th annual celebration of Islamic History Month, which is coinciding with our 3rd AGM of the World Forum for Muslims. As explained by the MC, we have over 500,000 Sri Lankan Muslims living abroad. In the year 2005, some of us got together. We had formed a group known as, at that time there was no WhatsApp group or there was no but it was only email group. It was a yahoo.com Sri Lankan Muslim. But it was open for every one of them, whether they are living in Sri Lanka or living abroad. Halfway through the group, in the year 2005 or 2007, somewhere around that time, we said, no, we should have some association collecting all Sri Lankan Muslims across the world. So that is how the idea of the Sri Lankan Muslim came. Alhamdulillah, from then day on, we have been working, but you will be surprised to know how disunited Muslims were, especially Sri Lankan Muslims. We cannot agree on the name of the forum. It took us 12 years to come out on that shelf. Finally, we said, we will have a forum that will carry the taste or flavor of Sri Lankan Muslims. But still, they didn't want to agree because Australians wanted a different name connected to Australia. Americans wanted, I'm talking about Sri Lankan Muslims living in those countries. However, I got fed up and I handed it over to Rizwan Mahai, who was the Secretary of the Customs in UK. In the year 2019, after about 17 years or so, it got launched on 19th of October 2019 by the High Council of Sri Lanka in UK. At that point, they appointed me as the chairman, Secretary General, Rizwan, and Treasurer. Now, that was the appointment of the Board of Management. We had to gather the people around. How do we do that? We have to structure in such a way that we collect all the information. It is not easy getting the information together, forming an association that will give equal chances to all the people around the world. Alhamdulillah, with a difficult and heavy task, we formed it, and today when at my inaugural speech in the UK, I said we will have a physical conference in Toronto in the year to come. Unfortunately, we had COVID, we could not meet or we could not make it. Allah has given us a chance. So I'm so delighted and happy today. We, the chairman of the having the conference coinciding with Islamic Tribunal, which was proclaimed by the government of Canada in 2007 to recognize the service that given by the Muslims in Canada. Alhamdulillah, we are very grateful to come to Canada, and I'm sure our MP will endorse that. Alhamdulillah, today I see almost all the associations have come under one roof. This is a difficult task we had to bring all together, because our theme is unity. It doesn't matter if you diversity, but it has to be included together. Inclusion, diversity and inclusion. So, alhamdulillah, this particular function has brought all of us together. When I can see all the associations, even though they are not coming yet, but the associations are represented, and the heads of the association will be on together to show the unity of Sri Lankan Muslims. Alhamdulillah, I hope we have initiated it. It will go on forever. I don't want to take all your time. So many people speak about various things. In the meantime, I would like to thank our speakers, especially Nomana Asher, Brother Asher, who we were supposed to bring a good, what do you call it, a speaker from Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, we are unable to get the visa. Since he could not come, we are appearing on the Zoom today. So instead of going, I called Dr. Noman Asher. He readily accepted and he is here with his whole family. We don't have grateful to you, Dr. Professor Shah. We have come among busy schedule. He has accepted our invitation. Of course, Mr. Salma is always with us, and our new executive high commissioner, he has come all the way from Ottawa, where is this function. So I don't want to take much of your time. Thank you very much. And I will thank the coordinators of the USLM with the United Muslim Council of Canada. That is all the umbrella type of organization bring all the associations together. So in fact, this function would have been successful because of the hard work put up by our coordinating coordinating manager, they are the assistant by the coordinator of the facility. So thank you all of you. And I say from my heart, I am the happiest man today because my dream has come true. I only hope the youngsters will take over and carry on with it. Thank
you, Captain. That was very nice of you, and I'm sure I will recognize it. I would now like to call upon Brother Siddiq Mahmood from the United Sri Lanka Muslim Community of Canada to say a few words.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري اللهم صل على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. Dear respected ulamas, our Deputy High Commissioner, Member of Parliament, Chairman, General Secretary, Treasurer of the World Forum, and members who are present here physically and on Zoom, members of local associations, and distinguished ladies, gentlemen, brothers, sisters, and my friends. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As the Chief Coordinator of United Sri Lanka Muslim Community of Canada, member organizations, I humbly welcome you all to join us to celebrate the 10th Islamic History Month celebration of 2022, which coincides with the 3rd Annual Conference of World Forum for Sri Lankan Muslims here in Toronto. I welcome all of you once again. I pray wholeheartedly for a successful and a memorable event tonight. Please join me and the rest of United Sri Lankan Muslim Community of Canada members, member organizations, World Forum for Sri Lankan Muslim and Ceylon Muslim in celebrating tonight's event. For those who have not heard about USLMCC, I'll just give a small briefing about USLMCC. It's in the brochure as well. USLMCC, which stands for United Sri Lanka Muslim Community of Canada, was founded in 2018 to work in collaboration and in coordination with 16 Sri Lankan Muslim organizations in Toronto. The main objective is to maintain unity within the community organizations and to be the collective voice of the Sri Lankan Muslim living in Canada. The current coordinating committee consists of 7 members: Brother Faisal, Muhammad Nasir, Rizvi Bashir, Dr. Aslam Hassan, Muhammad Ishaq Hassanat, Faris Majid, and Muhammad Hakim, and me. A warm wishes to the World Forum for Sri Lankan Muslims on this historic event. We also wish the Ceylon Muslim Foundation of Canada for the Islamic History Month ceremony. Jazakallah khairan. Enjoy the study. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Brother Siddiq. I would like to now call upon another member of the Forum's Executive Committee. This gentleman has flown all the way from the United Kingdom. I spoke to him about 3 nights ago, and what saddened me most was that he was a student in Canada doing a 4-year undergraduate program, and he decides to ditch us and go and claim his allegiance with Her Majesty the Queen of England in 1977. Now that, to me, was very disheartening. How can you leave Canada and such beautiful people? That was, anyway, it was. This gentleman is also a founding member of the World Forum. He is also a founding member of Cosmos UK, another organization in the United Kingdom. He was one of the 7 young ambassadors chosen by the Sri Lankan government to represent the country and promote education Japanese government's youth program known as the Nippon Maru Youth Exchange Program. So that enabled him to be Sri Lanka's youth ambassador, and he traveled to 9 countries with a host of students, promoting education, promoting tourism, and we're fortunate to have him with the World Forum right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Rizwan Wahab.
Thank you, Ishan, for his wonderful presentation of myself rather than, can you all hear me? Yeah. Giving me credit to many things. Right. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Vanakkam. Ayubowan. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored and privileged to be here in the beautiful city of Toronto. Coming from London, please accept my warm greetings from London, from World Forum for Sri Lankan Muslim. Chairman A.J. Pari, Member of Parliament for Scarborough Centre, Honorable Salman Zahid, Deputy High Commissioner for Sri Lanka, Mrs. Anzuldi Chan, the leader of the United Sri Lankan Association, Canada, participating members of the World Forum worldwide, distinguished guests, and members of Canadian chapter of the World Forum, I give my greetings and my welcome to all of you. I would like to say a few words about World Forum. Mr. Bari has already spoken a lot about World Forum already. And in the morning, in our AGM, I elaborated for nearly half an hour all our achievement and what we have done. My mission in Canada today, I arrived in Canada 2 days ago. My mission is to the Canadian, Sri Lankan Muslim and the others to join us, the World Forum, to be a world lobbying force. World Forum has headquarters in London, Kew Gardens in Richmond. We have an office in Melbourne, and we also have an office in Toronto. So we are expanding, as Mr. Bari said, 2019 we launched. So within 3 years, we have expanded to 27 countries. And we have membership and coordinators worldwide. So you can see within 3 years, some of us got together and done a great job. So, since the Sri Lankan community in Sri Lanka is facing quite a bit of hardship in the recent time and also in the past, the World Forum, after it was formed, we spent a lot of time to be the strongest lobbying force in the world. That is why, after it's taken 17 years to form this association. Now that we are formed, we want to encourage 500,000 Sri Lankan Muslims worldwide. Try and see if we can get 10% of them to join us. We also work with other communities in Sri Lanka. We are not only serving Sri Lanka, but we serve community at large. Our service is to all communities in Sri Lanka. Our projects and activities for all communities. We have done great things. I spoke in the morning quite a bit about it. I'm just going to brief a couple of things only for the new audience who are here today. Otherwise, I'll be failing in my duty if I don't explain to you what we have done. We work around 15 teams, right? I'll be showing a small video in a little while. With that 15 team, we do a lot of service worldwide. One of the important team is the education subcommittee, which works supporting education in Sri Lanka, giving scholarship to children, advanced level and university supporting. So education team, the gender equality, the chairman of gender equality, she is in Melbourne. She is insisting that I should give 50% representation in World Forum. So it is a hard job for me. I have only got 20 ladies have joined us so far worldwide. So I have to work hard to give the 50% for them. Right? I will give 51%. Right? If I can get hold of all the team leaders, all of you can join us, all the ladies to the World Forum. We will have a larger representation for the gender equality team. We also got the climate change, the environmental subcommittee, which the World Forum started having 1 million tree planting campaign in Sri Lanka. We have done mini forest in Sri Lankan schools. We are also planting shade trees, and we are giving them tube wells to the people who have been displaced in Sri Lanka, in the Mana and Akalakatu area. We are supporting 72 tube wells, and we are also supporting them, giving them food safety for Sri Lankan government and Sri Lankan people by organizing food safety program and humanitarian activity for Sri Lanka. So these are few important projects which I mentioned this morning, which I will expand a little bit for you all to know what the World Forum is doing. So as I said, the main objective of the Canadian chapter to work hard on it and work closely with the Sri Lankan High Commission in Canada. All our coordinators worldwide have been requested to work with the Sri Lankan High Commission and the government. As the Honorable Salman Zaid is here with us, I would like to request that in London, in UK, we have an organization, we have a group called APPG, which is All Party Parliamentary Group. We have a set of MPs dedicated to serve us, with Cosmos also supporting us. So we have a group headed by Bob Blackman, and many MPs we have pursued them to be in that All Party Parliamentary Group. So they will speak about Sri Lankan Muslim in the Parliament, right? And they will lobby for any issues Sri Lanka faces worldwide. Now, of course, it is mainly as a UK-based parliamentary group. So we are requesting our coordinators worldwide to speak to your MPs in your own country, your local MPs, try and form an all-party group in your own government, right? So that we will be able to work on it and then support our Sri Lankan community and also the community at large for any issues facing us, so that they will bring it up to the parliament. So we have become a very strong lobbying force in UK, bringing all issues of Sri Lanka into the UK parliament and all to the Organization of Islamic Countries, the Muslim League. So we are working with all those, and we are requested to observe state and membership since we are a registered organization in the United Kingdom. The World Forum has got 3 very important pillars to strengthen us. We are a registered organization. This is pillar number 1, that allows us to work worldwide, all countries, all people. Secondly, the resources of intellectual, professional and scientists who are members of the World Forum today, so they will be able to support with all our activities and our project, preparing concept papers for our activity. Thirdly, we have our youth. As you see, the age is not a factor. There is always the thinking by all of you around here saying that youth will be our leaders tomorrow. What I say is youth is today. We gave them the responsibility, we gave them the opportunity today. There is no tomorrow. They must come in today and join the World Forum. As a youth, we will train you, we will teach you, you take over from us. And we have a very strong youth team. Canada is lucky, the team leader for youth team is a Canadian for the World Forum. So we want the youth to join us. What I say, age is not a factor. Youth can be supporting us, having a problem or they can be a victim, they can be a supporter for peace building and conflict resolution. Also, they will be supporting World Forum otherwise. So, basically, I would like to show you a small video. I think that there are 2 screens on the other side. Please watch that so that I can summarize it later on for the next few minutes. Thank you.
Unfortunately, Muslims is an independent, apolitical forum which brings together all overseas Sri Lankan Muslim organizations and individuals who have a unified voice in matters concerning Muslims living in Sri Lanka. We are a registered and regulated organization in the United Kingdom. In addition, we would like to place all our resources into one and utilize it to advantage the wider community across the world and in Sri Lanka. The initial discussion was started in 2012 by a few Sri Lankan Muslims living around the world. However, it was officially launched on 18th October 2019 in Harrow, United Kingdom by Her Excellency Manisha Gunasekara, the Sri Lanka High Commissioner for United Kingdom, and Right Honourable Bob Blackman MP. We placed our dreams under some thematic areas: membership development, public relations and media, education, finance, pluralism, coexistence and interaction, social and event management, political and international affairs, gender equality, health and well-being wing, information technology wing, legal wing, youth wing, project monitoring and evaluation, fundraising, climate change and sustainability. Our achievements are: the World Forum Conference was held in London in collaboration with Cosmos UK on October 19, 2019 with prominent participants from all over the world. Our education subcommittee is already functioning and started a project, while the Coincided and Pluralism Committee has completed 2 projects. Establishing the history of Sri Lankan immigrants in the world is in progress, and so far we have substantially completed the project in Canada and other countries and are waiting information from the residents. Represented WFSLM view at the Education Conference held in Colombo on 15th December 2019. Represented WFSLM at the Human Rights Online Conference on 21st September 2020. Our nominated office bearers attended several Zoom meetings and conferences from March 2020 up to date on issues and concerns of Sri Lankan Muslims residing in Sri Lanka. Education Subcommittee Scholarship Program is ongoing. World Forum for Sri Lankan Muslims work and serve all expat communities and ethnicities around the world and in Sri Lanka. Furthermore, non-Muslims have also co-opted to our team. For more information, log on to www.worldforumforsrilankanmuslims.org or email info@wfslm.org. Secretary General, wfslm@gmail.com.
much everyone for watching our video, which will actually tell you all about World Forum. So I'm going to cut down my speech due to time constraint as well, because the video has given you a good picture of the World Forum activities. Just finish it off the next 10 seconds. The World Forum is going to be a world epic center for Sri Lankan Muslims. Finally, I request all Canadian and people participating around the world to be part of our journey for success. The people of Sri Lanka, for their issues and concerns that we are facing today, the amount of effort that expatriate can do to our motherland, give something back to your country. Give something back. That is my request. Whatever you can, whatever way you can, please support us to give something back. We'll all come back as an expatriate community, especially the youth. So please support us and become a member of World Forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Rizwan. I think the audience has had a wonderful explanation about the world. Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest speaker tonight, we are running short on time, but he is no stranger to the Toronto Muslim community. He was born and raised in Toronto. He has studied under some very famous scholars, achieving extensive accreditations in the field of social sciences. His commitment and dedication to pursue the study of social sciences began at a very, very young age. I know the Sheikh is not going to be happy me telling the audience about his background, but I have to do my due diligence. Nonetheless, at the age of 14, with the grace and blessings of Almighty Allah, he completed the memorization of the Holy Quran. That was 14 years, when he was only 4 years old. Alhamdulillah. But that was just the beginning. The next 6 years, he pursued a vigorous 6-year early course in social sciences at the Islamic University of South Africa, known as the Darul Uloom Zakaria, where he achieved his master's degree. Thereafter, he was granted an authorization in Hadith by the Grand Mufti of South Africa, Sheikh Radawul Haq, for his excellent accreditations. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Imam and the Director of Islamic Affairs at the Islamic Center in Toronto. He is a former member of the Toronto Council of Canadian Council of Imams. He was the Vice Chair of the Canadian Council of Imams. He was also an active member of the Canadian Council of Theologians. Ladies and gentlemen, my humble privilege to please welcome Sheikh Yusuf Badat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected brothers, elders, mothers, sisters, and youngsters, we begin as always by praising the Almighty, and we convey the best of salutations upon all the prophets, including Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. Peace and blessings upon each and every one of them. I am delighted to be here in the presence of the organization and all of you here. And we make dua and we supplicate that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all the good work that is being done, both locally as well as internationally. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow this to prosper and grow with the best. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward one and all. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. I've always been affiliated with the community of Sri Lanka. I recall when I was a young kid running around in diapers South Africa and completing my studies, both where I was in Malton, Mississauga, where I first started teaching some Quran and Islamic studies, as well as in the Islamic Foundation of Toronto. I see Uncle Bari almost every day, and other community members of the Sri Lankan community. Alhamdulillah, my home happens to be steps away from Masjid al-Jannah. And whenever I see Masjid al-Jannah, it reminds me of Jannah. May Allah make us amongst those of Jannah. Ameen. And obviously, Masjid Taqwa, Sheikh Zakaria, I am quite connected with him and the community there as well. So there's only one thing left, Uncle Bari. You need to take me to South Africa, inshallah. I mean, sorry, Sri Lanka. We'll inshallah, go with you one day, inshallah. Nevertheless, this event is related to Islamic history. I know the time is extended past the allocated time, so inshallah, I'm going to cut my remarks shortly, and inshallah, we can also be inspired by the speakers that follow me. So Islamic heritage and Islamic history is a valuable blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the reason I say this is that there's no community on the face of this earth that can ever prosper without looking at the people of the past. When the Quran, the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, gives us guidance, mentorship, and shows us the path, the Quran constantly refers to the communities of the past. تِلْكَ الْقُرَى نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَائِهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says these are communities. These are nations that I relate to you, I narrate to you of their news. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in some occasions makes a mention of in these narratives of the communities that have come before you, there are tremendous lessons for you to grasp on. Imam Malik, rahimahullah, the great jurist, he made a mention that in order for any community to succeed, they must study the people of the past. I said this earlier in one of my previous Jummahs on the note of Islamic history, and I know the Sri Lankan community generally, they're connected with the Shafi'i fiqh. So the great jurist, Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah, he said, from my Islamic studies, I deliberately took out a span of 2 years to study history, and that was only for one reason, so that I can become a better faqih, a better jurist. Because in order to establish rulings from the Holy Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, we need to understand the urf, and we need to understand the custom of the time. And therefore, if I don't understand how the Quranic principles were applied by the people of the past, it'll be difficult for me to come up with verdicts for my community and my society and my era. And he said, I tremendously benefited from studying Tarikh, which refers to history. So there's so much that we can learn from history, and particularly Islamic history is rich, it's a treasure of lessons. You study the Islamic history and you become so engaged and inspired by it that we'll find how communities rose, and we will also find how they fell. And one of the greatest things that we can learn from history is that wherever there were mistakes, wherever there were challenges and mistakes were made, we can learn from those mistakes. We can learn from the blunders of the people of the past. And at the same time, all the positive work that was done, we can continue that legacy. The other day, in the halaqah of the seerah at the masjid, the biography of the Prophet ﷺ, we were talking about the 9th year of Hijrah, the 9th year after the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, had migrated from Mecca to Medina. And in this year, this was after the victory of Mecca, or we call Fatih Mecca, and the community started started to embrace Islam. Allah makes a mention of this in one of the surahs and chapters of the Quran that most of us have memorized. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ, when the aid of Allah and the victory comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What will you see? يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. You will see people entering the fold of Islam in flocks, in large numbers. So the Almighty makes a mention of this period, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, he saw this expansion, that people were coming in droves. They were coming in large numbers, embracing Islam, either by hearing about the teachings of Islam, or by coming in the presence of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, and inquiring about the teachings of Islam. Nevertheless, the Prophet ﷺ had a few concerns during that time when there was a lot of expansion. And one of the major concerns that the Prophet ﷺ had was unity. And today's event, it reminds me of the unity. That the Sri Lankan Muslim community from across the world are collaborating to benefit in different regions of the world. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, he sent various trusted companions of this, to ensure that the principles that are laid down, they are adhered to, and at the same time, there is no decline in the togetherness of the communities. So, as you work together, you learn this great lesson. So the point I'm making here is that we can learn so much from the history that is there. We have a treasure, we need to access it, we need to learn about it, and the greatest thing is take those lessons that we learn and bring them practically in our lives so that we can better ourselves and we can also shape the future in our circumstances, in our situations as well. As we know, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, he left a legacy. And from this legacy is the rich treasure of Islamic history. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, he actually made a mention. He said, there are some people who would not have seen me, but they will embrace my teachings as if they have seen me. And the Sahaba, the companions, they questioned that you're making a reference to some of these people also say that they will be rewarded much more than what we are rewarded. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, indicated that you are my companions, you are in my presence, you see how I am giving you the teachings, etc. But after my demise, there will be people who will be so steadfast on the teachings that it's as if they are in my presence. They have loved me yet they have not seen me. They will practice my teachings yet they have not seen me. And those are the ones that will continue that legacy and that treasure of Islam. So indeed, we learn so much from the heritage and from the history of Islam, and we need to continue to access it. One point I'd like to also make a mention about is one benefit of connecting with history is that we can decipher right from wrong. There's a lot of times that we hear that there are things that are said about the past. And there's so many examples I can give. One common example we hear from the non-Muslim community is that the Muslims, they worship a black box. I'm sure you've heard of this one. And they link it with the Muslim community being the Kaaba. But when you explain the history of the Kaaba, and Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, the structure is just a sense of direction. It's not necessarily the being that we worship. The being that we worship is not contained in a specific direction or in a specific structure. And this clarifies, this makes matters clear. The other day, someone asked me a question that I read a report in the most authentic book of the hadith, and that he was referring to Sahih al-Bukhari, that the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, drank wine. I said, that's impossible because the Quran makes a mention that it's forbidden, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, would never engage in doing something that is forbidden by God himself as a representative of God on the face of this earth. So he gave reference to the narration, and I looked up the Arabic of that narration, and the translator had made an error by translating the word nabidh to wine. What nabidh actually is it's a drink of water wherein dates are placed. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, he would often, prior to sleeping, he would throw a couple of dates in a cup of water or a bowl of water. And then the next morning, he would drink that. It wouldn't ferment or reach a point where it would be intoxicating. So this drink is called nabidh. It's called nabidh. The translator made an error by translating nabidh as wine. And in case a person who doesn't understand the teachings of Islam or the history of Islam or what the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, did, had a misunderstanding and was claiming to say that it is allowed to drink wine. So this is one benefit of history, accurate history. When we study accurate history, we discover things that bring about the truth. We decipher truth from falsehood. I give an example at the masjid as well, where Allah makes a mention about the Jewish community, about the Christian community, and an argument that they have amongst themselves. And what's that argument or that dispute? The Jews say that Abraham was a Jew, and the Christians say that Abraham was a Christian. The Almighty tells us in the most authentic book, that is the Quran, مَا كَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَهُودِيًّا وَلَا نَصْرَانِيًّا. Abraham was neither a Jew, Abraham was not a Christian. And then Allah tells us, He gives us a reasoning, He gives us a logical understanding. He says, how can Abraham be connected with Judaism when the Torah was only revealed after his demise, after his death? How can Abraham be connected with Christianity or the Injil, the Gospel, the Bible, when Abraham had passed away and the Injil, the Gospel, was only revealed to Jesus, Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, after Abraham's demise? Then Allah tells us the facts of the matter. The Almighty says that مَا كَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَهُودِيًّا وَلَا نَصْرَانِيًّا وَلَكِنْ كَانَ حَنِيفًا مُسْلِمًا. That Abraham was a Hanif. He was one who worshipped exclusively the one and only being. As we know, Abraham is the pillar of Tawheed. مِلَّةَ أَبِيكُمْ إِبْرَاهِيمُ. Your methodology, O Prophet of Allah, Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, is the methodology of Abraham. The methodology, the path of Tawheed, the oneness of the Almighty. So a benefit of connecting with history and accessing accurate history is that we can decipher truth from falsehood. So we are in the present, but one day we will all become history. There are so many people in the past who left a mark, and we are inspired by them. We study about them, we learn about them. And as I said, there's a treasure of Islamic history there that we can connect with people of our own fields. And we can be so inspired by the people who lived in the past. Whether it's the near past or the distant past, there are so many individuals who inspire us till today, and we take them as role models, we take them as mentors, and we benefit from their legacy. We will all become history. And if we do a great job here while we are present, like through the forum that you have here, the World Forum, and communities of the Sri Lankan background, different parts of the world collaborating to bring about great achievements and great services to the international world, this will be a legacy that we leave behind. So we are present, but we will become history, and tomorrow, if we leave a mark, we will have a legacy that will inspire one all. I make dua and I supplicate that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our gathering here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and our families. Allah allow us to connect with the great treasure of Islam.
renowned motivational speaker. He has contributed his regular articles to many English language newspapers. He is an advocacy columnist. He has traveled far and wide, delivering lectures, public speaking engagements to international audiences across different time zones and across different continents. I am pleased to introduce Mas Lamin Yusuf.
Am I online, brother? Assalamu alaikum.
Go ahead, Brother Yusuf, we can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you for that kind introduction, and very good evening to all of you. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you. I will not take much of your time, since I'm told dinner is round the corner, and I'll try to finish my talk in about 15 minutes, and if possible less than that. You all know that I will be speaking on the subject, pitching the Muslim community in the changing political landscape. There are three components here which I would very briefly touch upon in order to give you all a better understanding of the subject matter. Firstly, we have to identify the social landscape. Secondly, the political landscape. And thirdly, how to develop a methodology to pitch the community at national and community levels. I wish to make a disclaimer at this point. I have no political affiliation to any parties. Mine is an independent analysis, and in my talk I will have to necessarily refer to the ethnic composition of the Sri Lankan society. With a disclaimer, let us try to understand what is the social landscape for the Muslims in Sri Lanka. According to the Center for Policy Alternatives, in their report in 2016, I quote, "Divisive nationalist posturing from the country's main ethnic communities has presented the singular most formidable challenge to reconciliation, social cohesion, and the vision of creating a united Sri Lanka." In his book titled "Buddhism Betrayed," the famous author Stanley J. Tambaya argues that the political activities of the bhikkhus did not advance democracy and universalism, but promoted a narrow and exclusive ethno-religious nationalist ideology. This book, which attracted much controversy, was banned in Sri Lanka due to the influence of Buddhist nationalists. The Muslims have historically aligned with the majority parties. The Muslims never had a nationalist outlook. It was when the Muslims were wedged between the Sinhala and Tamil chauvinism that some Muslims thought of an ethnic-based Muslim party. The Tamil and the Muslim population, on the other hand, have had an ambivalent relationship of love and hate. The call for a linguistically allianced Tamil-speaking people have been rejected by the Muslims. Issues relating to land ownership, agriculture, fishing, etc. have had their own problems. The LTTE war distanced the relationship further with the 1990 exodus of Muslims from north and many attacks on the Muslim population in the east. Muslims in the past have benefited by their engagement with the majority Sinhala coalition politics. This has been challenged with the emergence of Sinhala nationalist parties and ethnocratic concept of Sinhala nationalism. Let me take you all to the second part, which is the political landscape. The Rajapaksa rule, commonly called so, took the country to the brink of bankruptcy. In my address this morning at the AGM stroke conference, I outlined the reasons for this, which was the lack of good governance. Besides that, the 18th Amendment bestowed unparalleled power and authority to the President, which was misused and abused. The Ranil Maitri government came in as a savior, as a government for good governance, and it promised to undo the 18th Amendment with the 19th, to prosecute those involved in corruption, waste of public funds, and other offences against public property. This hope of the people ended in a disaster with the Maitri Ranil Wickramasinghe government currying favour with the Rajapaksas again. The Rajapaksas strategically adopted the racial and religious card to come back to power. They successfully conducted their campaign from the grassroots levels up to the top bureaucracy. In essence, since the Rajapaksa rule, the economy is bankrupt, the social fabric has gone down to unimaginable levels of xenophobia, with hate speeches and malicious campaigns against the Muslims, the Tamils, and the Christian population. From the religious angle, Islamophobia against the Muslims grew, while attacks on the Christians also increased to a high level of disharmony. Not to mention the land grabs in the north and east. In this scenario, we should not miss out on the Tamil factor, which is also part of this socio-political landscape. The Tamils are asserting for a federal autonomy within a united Sri Lankan state. This will have implications with the northeast sectors and the Tamil Muslim populations in those areas. The end of the war in 2009 saw the resurgence of what some scholars call as political Buddhism. They call it political Buddhism, an ethno-nationalist religious force. A monarchical Rajapaksa family was being instituted into power under the illusion of a Dutugamunu king resurgence after the war victory, and the spotlight was on the Muslims. So we have republicanism, that is with the Republican Constitution on the one hand, and the burgeoning ethnocracy nurtured on the basis of ethno-religious nationalism. The danger of ethnocracy based on ethno-nationalism is that they seek to dominate the political, cultural, social and economic landscape of the country, and thereby making the other communities, like the Tamils, Muslims, as secondary citizens. Now, the Muslims must recognize they are being sandwiched between the Sinhala majority, political dominance in the southwest, and the hopes and aspirations of the Tamils in the northeast. The Muslims must also consider the Muslim landscape internally. That is, the Muslims are also divided into various groups as the Wahhabis or the Sufis, the Tabligh Jamatis and the ACJU, etc. So the Muslims must therefore seriously sit and think as to how they are going to position themselves within this situation. Given this background, also the question whether Muslim racial politics must continue. Now, it is in this context that we have to think of pitching the Muslim community, and very briefly I will just say we need to have a dedicated center for documentation and research on Muslim affairs, and we need to develop a social media platform for the Muslims. There are other things that can be stated, but I will only just mention these two for sake of time. And the Muslims' concern is the physical security throughout the country, the preservation of its religious and socio-cultural rights. One other main aspect being good governance, which was addressed today morning by me at the AGM at the conference. I'm sure that I have shared some ideas for you all to think about. Please go ahead and enjoy your dinner. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you, Brother Yusuf. Thank you for that inspiring talk. I really appreciate it. Our next guest speaker, we are really running short of time because we started late, is a committed champion for gender awareness. She has worked very hard to bring communities together. She is an honorable member of parliament for the Scarborough Centre riding. And she is committed to ensure that the voices of the minorities are heard, the voices of the racialized Canadians are heard. She has worked hard to bring her community together, different communities together through her initiative, the Scarborough Centre for Multi-Faith Council, upholding the belief that what we have in common as Canadians is much stronger than what sets us apart. That's a very, very profound statement. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Honorable Salman Zahid.
the 15th anniversary of the declaration of October as Islamic History Month. This is a month to make sure that we recognize the contributions Canadians of Muslim faith have made to this great country we all call home. We came from different parts of the world. We came here to Canada and called it as our home and went through lots of ups and downs to make sure that we make a more inclusive Canada. So thank you to all of you and to all the Muslims who have made contributions in making Canada as one of the best countries to live in this world. Yes, give a big applause to all of you from in all walks of life, from arts, culture, medicine, teaching, engineering, politics. Muslims have contributed and made Canada the best place. Like why we recognize here in October, like I think we should recognize the contributions every month, but October is specifically Islamic Heritage Month, and we recognize, I think that's the time that we also recognize that Islamophobia and hate is on the rise. And we have seen many incidents of hate and Islamophobia here in Canada. More than a year ago, in June 2021, the incident which happened in London, Ontario, shook us all. Our family was taped to Islamophobia, to hate, because that 21-year-old was filled with that hate that he just drove the vehicle over that. I myself wear a visible symbol of Muslim faith. I am the first Muslim, I'm the first woman to speak from the House of Commons wearing a hijab. And just this Monday, we have elected a woman to Toronto City Council wearing a hijab, Osma Malik. So it will be the first time a Muslim woman wearing a hijab will be sitting in the Toronto Council. So I think like these are some of the achievements we all should be very proud of. The community here has really worked together. So as your elected representatives, it is really very important that we make sure that we fight Islamophobia. Very soon, you will see there will be an appointment of a special representative to tackle Islamophobia. This came out of the National Summit on Islamophobia, which happened in June 2021 after the Lankan incident, and applications have been gathered, and the Minister for Diversity and Inclusion, Minister Honorable Ahmed Hussain, is reviewing, and the appointment of a special rep on Islamophobia will be made very soon. That will provide an opportunity to have like a secretariat, a person dedicated to make sure that we see why Muslims have to face Islamophobia and incidents of hate are on the rise. We have seen like whether it is in Alberta or Toronto, like when I talk to many young girls wearing a hijab are scared to take either TTC, like because they think that someone might like attack them or they might have to face hate. I think we all need to work together. Governments have a lot of part to do, but I think we as individuals also need to come together, make sure that we create awareness among our neighbors, among our friends, that all of us are working in making better future our next generations. So that's why, like as indicated in my introduction, I created a multi-faith council in my riding of Scarborough Center to bring people of all faiths together. Because I think it's really very important that we know who our neighbors are. If we don't know about each other, we have a lot of apprehensions about each other. If we get to know each other, I think hate, like love, can take over hate. And that's really very important to build up with hate or Islamophobia. We had to check out all forms of hate, including Islamophobia here in Canada also. And as your elected representative, I will keep on fighting for that. Thank you to civil society for bringing everyone together under one umbrella. I think it's a great achievement to see all the organizations together celebrating Islamic History Month. Happy Islamic History Month, and thank you once again. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, Sister Sama. Thank you. Our next guest speaker is a very, very well-known personality amongst the citizens of Toronto. He and I share something in common. We are both foodies. The difference is that this gentleman, this academic, he uses food as a platform to bring people together because, of course, he's sharing. Whereas I don't share my food. My wife can testify to that. Ladies and gentlemen, a social professor at the Lankan Management School for MBA students and a well-known gentleman, Professor Numan Ashraf.
I have a really difficult task, which is as soon as I finish speaking, those fine servers will start the buffet. So I recognize the immediacy of the moment. You've been a wonderful audience. I actually want to thank the MP before she leaves that you just recognize how much they have on the go. She's going to another event. As she leaves the hall, can we give her a warm round of applause? MP, this applause for you. The job of leadership is this: one event, another community, and so on and so forth. All right. I want to share with you 3 ideas. Idea number 1, if we are here to talk about Islamic History Month, I think it's important for us to look at 3 pivotal moments in Islamic history. And these, of course, are pivotal moments in the life of our beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad ibn Abdullah. The first of these actually happens before he is given revelation. This is an important incident that happens. This is on the authority of Ibn Ishaq in his Tarikh, in his history. He says that when the Kaaba had been built, there was one task left, which was how do we place the Hajar al-Aswad, the black stone, back in the Kaaba. And there was much dispute as to which tribe would get that honor. And they were having difficulty understanding this. So they said, you know what we're going to do is, we are going to ask whoever enters the Kaaba next, randomly, to place the black stone in the Kaaba. As they look around, who enters the Kaaba? Muhammad ibn Abdullah. But they didn't say, oh Muhammad, you should do this. They said, this is Al-Amin. This is the person who's trustworthy. If we are to be callers to the truth in Canada, we have to be trustworthy. This is a really important lesson from Islamic history. Incident number 2. This incident happens as the Messenger of Allah ﷺ is making the migration from Mecca to Medina. And this narration is important. This narration is important. I have some people speaking at this table. I ask them to please be attentive. Thank you. This narration is important because this actually records the first statement of Allah's Messenger ﷺ as he establishes the community, which is the blueprint for an Islamic community in Medina. On the authority of Abdullah ibn Salam, he says, I was not yet a Muslim. I heard about this man. I came from a Jewish family, and in our scripture, it the promise of the coming of a Messiah. But I was told that this man was a liar. I got up on top of the tallest date palm tree to see the coming of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The moment that I saw his face, I recognized that this was not the face of a liar. I waited carefully to listen to his instructions to the community in Medina, in Yathrib. And he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, listen carefully, please. Ufshu salam. Spread salam, peace amongst themselves. Share food amongst yourselves, and when people are sleeping, pray. He didn't talk about property rights. He didn't talk about a strategy for domination. He didn't talk about intermarriage. Ufshu salam. Spread salam. Can I give you a modern interpretation of that? When we leave our homes, our offices, say good morning. How are you? What's bringing you joy? Share food. In Sahih Bukhari it is said, the Prophet said, when you make soup, add water to it, give some to your neighbor. It's a practice that we should be doing. It's not right for us as Muslims to have neighbors who are suffering from food insecurity. Put your hand up. Groceries have gotten more expensive. You've noticed this? Alhamdulillah, we can afford it. The ones who can't, they need our help. Incident number 3. This is towards the end of the life of Allah when he gives instructions to Mu'adh ibn Jabal, whom he sends as an emissary into what is now Yemen. He says, you are going to a people who are the people of the book. Call them to the oneness of Allah. If they accept, tell them about Salah. If they accept, tell them about Zakah. If they accept, tell them about Siyam. If they accept, tell them about Hajj. Take it easy. Take it easy on people. Go slow. Meet them where they are. Don't overwhelm them. These are 3 lessons for us from Islamic history as we think about history and its applicability to us. I promised you 2 acronyms. The first acronym, and the MP spoke about this, Imam Yusuf spoke about this, is fear. Fear, not just the word, but the acronym. To me, fear stands for false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. You know how many people have said to me, you're the first Muslim I've met? And I said, you're lying to me. So what do you mean? Have you never been in Uber? If you've been in Uber, you've been a Muslim. No question about it. If you've been in a restaurant, you've been a Muslim. If you've been at the university, you've been a Muslim. When we don't tell others about Islam, it is not their fault that they don't know what Islam is. False evidence appearing real. So what do? My second act, it's you gotta keep it real. What does real stand for? Real ethics activate leadership. This is the deen, this is the way of being, in which Allah tells us in the Quran, be those who stand for justice even if it goes against us. And I'm going to put all the leaders on notice today that are here from all the different organizations. If we don't lead by justice, do not be surprised when people abandon us when we need their support. Justice means listening to people, understanding their needs, understand their pain points, and addressing them in meaningful ways. Not inshallah, mashallah, like real things. Then one call to action. One call to action. In my view, as somebody who teaches leadership is a big word. To be called a leader is a big word. So how do we understand this? There is an ayah, there's a verse in the Quran which split Baqarah into 2. The ayah is, and you have been made as a nation unto all of mankind that is justly balanced and as a witness into humankind. That's the definition of a leader. To be just, to be a witness, and to be a collective. It's a big task. There's some bad news and there's some good news. The bad news is it's an enormous task. The good news is we can do this together. I'm delighted to recognize that we are here to not just celebrate. I want to challenge that. The Muslims in Sri Lanka are going through a very difficult time. If we were not listening to the last speaker from the UK, he's telling us that there are systemic ways in which we are being excluded. It is important for us to care, to be connected, and to be vocal. We also need to recognize that Islamophobia is real. My daughter and my son are here. Alhamdulillah, my niece is here. My siblings are here. I want to say to you that all of us need to support each other, not to be divided, but to be together. We need to hold our elected officials and our community leaders accountable to say, what are we doing to challenge Islamophobia? Not just a celebration dinner in October, but every single week of every single month. We need to make it not just acceptable, but welcome to be Muslim here in Canada. Thank you very much for your attention. God bless you.
Thank you, Brother Ashok. That was a very motivational discussion, and we learned a lot from you. Our next guest speaker has come all the way from Ottawa. Yeah, but I thought she might miss the train, but no, she's here. She is the Honorable Deputy High Commissioner for Sri Lanka in Ottawa. She has had a career span of 22 years with the Sri Lankan Foreign Service. She has held a lot of key positions in different desks back home in Colombo and abroad. She has represented Sri Lanka as a diplomat in Paris, in Kenya, and now we are happy to have her in Ottawa. To those of you who don't know her, she has had her primary education at St. Anthony's Convent in Calcutta. Then she went to the University of Birmingham. After that, she matriculated to the University of London to do her LLB. The fascinating point in her career was when she accepted a postgraduate course at the National University of Singapore, where she was inducted as in the fellowship for the Lee Kuan Yew scholarships. That gave her an opportunity to go to the University of Harvard. Ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to please welcome Anzul Babu Jan.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Captain Agawari, Chairman of Sena Muslim Foundation of Canada and the World Forum for Sri Lankan Muslims. Mr. Rizwan Bahar, Secretary General of the World Forum for Sri Lankan Muslims. Distinguished guests who spoke before me, Brother Yusuf Badar, Mr. Mas Yusuf, Honorable Salma Zaidi, my fellow brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be with you at this important celebration. As a diplomat, I am happy to say that this is my second time or the second stint in Canada. When I am in Canada, I count my term based in the number of winters. I have 2 more to go. I served in Ottawa as councillor from 2009 to 2012. This period is one of the crucial times in the history of Sri Lanka. As you know, it was the end of 30-year conflict. The conflict came to an end, and I think no one knew how to build peace. How to start, where to start, how to sustain what was started. So many efforts done in good faith failed due to many reasons. One of the main reasons that I saw was that the society was broken as a whole. The conflict did not only affect the Sinhalese and the Tamil communities, but everyone. Every Sri Lankan was affected psychologically, loss of loved ones, physical wounds, loss of opportunities. In short, all aspects of life was affected. After almost 14 years, we are still grappling with its effects, trying to reconcile by addressing some of the basic accountability questions. In addition, there are many other challenges that every Sri Lankan has to face, that other speakers have touched on, which I'm not going to elaborate. However, the unresolved social questions and ethnic issues are still persisting. Now, we are facing an unprecedented economic crisis due to years of mismanagement of the financial resources of Sri Lanka. During the conflict and post-conflict period, and even before that, for many reasons, some of our brothers and sisters left to the shores of Sri Lanka. Some went in hope of coming back. But whatever the reason, one thing for sure, they all left their heart in Sri Lanka. That is why we are all here today. Because you care, your family, relatives, your memories, your traditions. There is something Sri Lanka has given to you. And you belong, and we want to hold on to those ties. And we want to pass on to your own children, because that is their heritage. There are over 3 million overseas Sri Lankans. Comparatively, this is a very large ratio against the population of Sri Lanka, which is 22 million. When you take Canada, there are over 300,000 overseas Sri Lankans, and the majority being the Tamil community. Since I served here 10 years ago, I know that the Sri Lankan community has not merely expanded in numbers. I witnessed that you have contributed to the overall success of the Canadian society. You are represented in all fields. You have excelled, and so has the second and third generations. Canada has not only welcomed you, it officially recognizes your contributions, given space to celebrate and practice your Sri Lankan traditions. I am thankful for that. The celebration of Islamic History Month is part of that recognition, and as a Sri Lankan representative, I am proud of your achievements and proud to be part of this celebration. What makes this occasion more special is the coming together of many Sri Lankan organizations to celebrate this event too. With the new president, the government of Sri Lanka is trying to rectify some of the past mistakes, lapses, and is ready to answer some of the difficult questions or to talk about it. Find ways to ensure that there will be no repetition of past mistakes and to bring about reconciliation, not only with the Tamil community, but all other communities who had faced tragic situations. In that effort, the High Commission in Ottawa and the Consulate General's Office in Toronto is open to all Sri Lankans to come and discuss any issue that needs to be resolved. As we are all aware, on a further positive step, Sri Lanka is working with IMF on a bailout package and taking positive steps to adhere to conditions therein. Yet again, we are thankful to Canada as a member of the Paris Club for extending its support to Sri Lanka to overcome the financial situation it is facing now. While the government is taking corrective steps as overseas Sri Lankans, let me emphasize, you have a role to play in the area of reconciliation and economic development in Sri Lanka. As a drawback, in my experience, I see that Sri Lankan community is polarized outside the country. In Sri Lanka, we do not see this much of segregation. Therefore, I urge every one of you to reach out to the other communities and have a dialogue. If you want the High Commission to participate in these dialogues, we would be happy to be there. Do invite other communities for functions and have common events where you can celebrate the ties of Sri Lanka. We have to break the silence between communities and engage in dialogue as the government is reaching out. In this connection, the High Commissioner, Harshakumar Navaratna, has reached out to many communities, and Tushar Rodrigo, the Consul General in Toronto, and I work closely with the High Commissioner on the subject. in the Economic Fund, while I thank all Sri Lankan associations and individuals for continuously helping Sri Lanka in your own way, I would urge you to come together as we did in the past and undertake a bigger role in assisting Sri Lanka in its difficult times. With the facilitation of the High Commission, you can send medicines to Sri Lanka, fund sustainable projects, and give employment to young people, take investment delegations to Sri Lanka, promote tourism, etc. You can also, as a community, encourage to send funds to your loved ones through proper banking channels and assist to bridge the foreign currency deficit that we are facing now. I'm happy to say that a delegation of investors will be soon visiting Sri Lanka in the first week of November with few members of Parliament organized by the Canada-Sri Lanka Business Convention. As one of the largest coastal Sri Lankan communities with multiple identities, you should come together and find a common platform to make an impactful engagement with your motherland, Sri Lanka. Finally, I take this opportunity to thank the Ceylon Muslim Foundation of Canada and the World Forum for Sri Lankan Muslims for inviting me to this celebration. A special thank you for Mr. Ziad, who took time to coordinate with the High Commission. I wish you all the success in your endeavors and thank you for the work that you have done on ground in Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Azul. I know you're hungry, Dinesh, but just a few more minutes because we have two important. One is a word of thanks and one is the announcement. Actually, I was supposed to be two gentlemen here simultaneously, but the first gentleman just told me a few minutes ago that he had forgotten his speech. He left it back over in England and he can't remember what he wrote. So, just to let you know, he is none other than the treasurer of the World Forum. He and I had the distinct privilege to attend the great school by the sea, the College of St. Thomas in Boston in Montevideo. He left for England just a few years before we left school. I think after his ordinary left for England. But he and I had been two different mischief makers. He was a mischief maker in his own right, and I was a mischief maker on the other side of the platform. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Mr. Ali Osman, MD. Please, a round of applause. Mr. Ali Osman. And the next fine gentleman is here for tirelessly to get this symposium in place and help all of you tonight. I gave him the title of Director of Event Management, but this was a thankless job. He has worked very hard, long hours, sometimes extending into days and nights across different time zones to ensure that his policies were in place and executed to the very letter. I'm certain that after tonight, he is really going to breathe a very huge sigh of relief. Ladies and gentlemen, it's none other than our very own Mohammed Ziad.
It has been such an honor to be part of this wonderful event, and it gives me great pleasure to propose the vote of thanks on this grand occasion. The event is unique because it had the blessings of all the local associations, especially the USLM who promoted the event well among the local associations. Alhamdulillah, I am thankful to Almighty Allah for giving us the courage and spirit in these trying times to arrange this glorious event. I would like to extend my heartfelt token of gratitude to WFSLM Chairman Brother Aga Bali, Secretary General Rizwan Wahab, and Treasurer Brother Halim Usman, MBE, for their unrelenting support extended to me and my working committee. On behalf of the organizers, we thank all who are present here, especially the local associations and the sponsors. Without your support and participation, this function would have been a success. I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude and special thanks to our esteemed guests, namely Mrs. Salma Zai, Honorable Member of Parliament for Scarborough Centre, Mrs. Anzul Jan, Deputy High Commissioner for Sri Lanka, and our special thank you goes out to our distinguished speakers, Brothers Mas Yusuf, Sheikh Yusuf Badar, and Dr. Ruman Ashraf, for their motivational and noteworthy speeches. A special thank you to Brother Ramiz Ali of Monara Graphics for your patience and enthusiastic support extended to us to get through the AGM earlier today, and his support and assistance for this evening. Thank you to our IT and social media team, Brothers Kuwait and Yahya. It was a tall order working through the different time zones. My profound appreciation, gratitude, and a big thank you to the members of the working committee for their enthusiasm and for having extended their time. Thank you. And to get where we are, I would like to name them all. Sisters Rehana Wari, Farida Rinzi, Asia Deen, Yamna Rifai, Hasina Wari, Nada Wari, Maria Sharif, Naslim Nawar, and Imaza Farah. And also, of course, the brothers who wholeheartedly supported me, Brother Afzal Hamid, Nizam Hashim, Rifti Hadi, Nawfal Abdul Qadir, Wasim Faisal, Nizam Siddiqui, Nabil Rushdi, Yunus Hassan, and of course, our illustrious and eloquent Master of Ceremonies this evening, Ishan Samsudin. Thank you. Finally, thank you to the banquet manager of this facility, Mr. Keelty, and your hardworking staff, and also the CEO of Grand Cinnamon, Mr. Ruan Jayakodi, and for all the support and assistance. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
What I noticed was that Mr. Ziad Bin thanked everybody else, but there was no one to thank him. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your commitment, thank you for your dedication, thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your effort. We have two more very, very short events. 1 minute. I would like to call upon Honorable Anzul Bahamjan and Brother Rizwan Wahab to present the token of appreciation.
Assalamualaikum again. This is something very special I want to tell you. Practically, even the World Forum organizers or the office bearers kept confidential on this because of the importance of this special award whom we are going to present. You know, the World Forum had a long history. The 70s years we are struggling to get our name right. So there are quite a few people in our audience who are foreign members who have helped us to get through this. One of the foremost person is one of them who has been with us since founding the World Forum and supporting us. His work is immense, unwavering, unrelenting, supporting us right throughout. His leadership has been imminent, and his leadership has been a guiding light for everyone in the World Forum right throughout. The commitment, the contribution, and the support So we, as a World Forum, has to recognize our own people. So I welcome to inform you in this occasion, this important award goes to our chairman for the AGM. Please come forward and accept this award. Oh no, right, for the body. To the body, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the greatest thing that you have done. This is something that is very small and simple, but this is a lifetime award, the World Forum's first ever award that we decided in a short, it's a long expected thing that I want to do for the last many years. But then there was no occasion that we were able to do that. So this occasion has been the greatest occasion for us to give this award to Brother Bari. Please give a round of applause for Mr. Bari. Right. Let me read this before I hand over, so you know what we are participating in. This is presented to Mr. A.G. Bari. It's an appreciation award from the World Forum for Sri Lankan Muslim to our chairman, Mr. A.G. Bari. It says, in honor and recognition of your commitment, dedication, exceptional leadership, outstanding contribution, unconditional, unwavering support and unrelenting guidance to the community. The World Forum is deeply indebted to you with a lifetime gratitude, and you will always be remembered and remain in our hearts. Thank you very much. Members, Executive Committee, Board of Management, on behalf of all of them, I would like the Deputy High Commissioner to present this award to the Chairman. Thank you.
I don't think I say anything about this function. All these achievements, I thank Allah and I thank Imam Allah, because I follow him every day, 5 times prayers in my mosque. So he is my mentor and he tells me what to do, and I will continue to do. One of the things he did, spend your time in the community service. This is reward I get by following advice of an Imam. So my advice to you, make sure you follow your instruction from your Imam in your area. So thank you so much for the Board of Management. I wouldn't have achieved this without the sort of help and assistance from my team, Board of Management, Executive Committee, team leaders, coordinators, and above all, members of the General Assembly. Now, I'm so happy once again to, of course, to receive the award, but I don't think I deserve. I should have called my wife to the stage, because without her help, I won't be able to do it. She is standing all the time. Especially, if you need money, and without money, you can't do anything. So I ran, go after, please give me some money, I'll do this answer. But she gives me. Thank you so much. May Allah extend her life and have a good time, child. So,
we have the last item for the day. I would like to call upon Imam Yusuf Badar to say the dua before we announce the tables for him.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Almighty, we praise and thank you, and we acknowledge that there's none worthy of worship except yourself. We also convey the best of salutations upon all the prophets, including Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. Peace and blessings upon each and every one of them. Almighty, accept our gathering here. Almighty, all the great work that is being done by this forum and all its members across the globe. Ya Allah, fill it with your acceptance and give the best of growth to each and every one of us. Ya Allah, allow us to learn from Islamic heritage and Islamic history. Allow us to share the message of Islam and the beautiful teachings of the Quran and that of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, especially to those who have a misunderstanding of the beautiful deen of Islam. Ya Allah, make us true representatives and sources of peace, tranquility, justice, goodness, and the best that spreads the love and the teachings of Allah and that of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah, we ask that you accept our gathering and fill it with your mercy and your blessings. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. جزاكم الله خير.
Can I now call upon Sister Rihanna Bari? Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for being here with us. But don't go. Sister Rihanna Bari is going to announce the table numbers. And please make your way towards the buffet table at the back of the hall and enjoy with your next meal.
Okay, so we have from this side tables number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make your way to the back, please. And from this side of the room, tables number 20, 21,